Yeah.
Boy, this guy keeps calling me.
That is. Yeah, you see people with some high-powered people. The Danny Kaye was there when I was there, the patient.
Who's Danny Kaye?
He used to be a clown movie star.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was he like?
It was kind of strange. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't know any music, but he would conduct bands. Yeah. When I got the fellowship, American College of Cardiology, he was the conductor. Yeah, there's no line of music. Mm-hmm. It was very strange, and then he used to dress strange, and it's all kind of short pants and. Danny King, yes.
Danny King?
Kaye, K-A-Y-E.
K-A-Y-E.
Mm-hmm. He died several years ago.
Any other weird patients you had? Famous, eccentric patients?
Just trying to remember any other person.
How many patients do you see a year?
Well, we used to see a lot. The Mayo Clinic, when I was there, they used to see 250,000. But they had a lot
a year?
Yeah, a lot of.
Gosh.
But they have a lot of doctors, you see.
Right.
Yeah. There's 1,500 trainees.
That's ridiculous.
That doesn't include all the consultants and.
So how many patients did you see?
Oh, I used to see an average of, I think 5 patients a day.
5 a day?
Yeah.
So we're talking 1,500 patients a year.
About 5 days a week.
Yeah, 300 days a year.
Yeah.
And you would remember them?
Oh, sure. They'll come back to you
again and
year
again
after year,
again.
Even though they were not referred to you. They referred to another, because your name was not on the consulting list.
Right.
I saw one patient, he said, I was referred to Dr. Magoon. But I like you a lot. I wouldn't, I didn't care to, I didn't see Dr. Magoon, but I like you a lot. I'll come back to see you. Come back year after year. Some of them were, they came from far and wide, all over the country.
Right.
Other people, not only do they treat you well, but it's extraordinary. They go out of the way to do what's best for you. You could see that they treated you as an individual.
Right.
You thought you were the only person in the world that they were taking care of. That's why they got all those donations.
You think they're still good now?
Oh yeah, they are.
Even after your experience there?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, to me they were not the residents were not as good. Yeah. Yeah, they become
too dependent.
Yeah, they was reliant on testing.
Right.
Yeah, which is.
Why do you think they're so reliant on testing?
I think it's the caliber of the people they recruited, and some of these universities, they're heavy on testing.
Right.
You know, we were trained to come up with a diagnosis and then order the tests based on the diagnosis. Whereas
They do the opposite.
some of them just the opposite. They would order the tests first and then see what the test showed.
Why do you think they do that?
Incompetence. Yeah, incompetence. Yeah, I remember seeing one guy from Yale University. He graduated from Yale, and he was at the Mayo Clinic for an internship. He was the worst person that ever come on. I couldn't believe how he could have graduated because he was so nervous. A patient would come to the emergency room with just a common cold. He would call you down. He'd say, "No, I'm not sure what's going on with this guy. I'm nervous. I'm not going to send him home until you come and see him." 2 a.m. Yeah, it's another guy. What is he from Harvard? Yeah. He had. The Mayo Clinic has a checklist of every possible
Right.
test that you can want, right? And he would check off every single one of them. When the results came back, he would just rip it off the child and put it in his pocket. He didn't know that there was a duplicate copy being sent to the consultant in the Mayo Clinic. They fired him on the spot. Yeah, they just fired him on the spot. Yeah.
Oh, so you think they test because they don't know the answer?
Right. They don't know the answer. Right.
You don't think they're testing because of liability?
No. Well, it's probably a little bit of both. Yeah.
I thought it was because of liability.
No, it's a little bit of both. Yeah.
Have you heard of the book, The Doctor's Checklist, or The Patient's Check? It's this physician who. I'll send it to you. It's a physician who came up with all these checklists that can be done that are much more efficient with the American medical practice right now, because it's pretty bad.
You see, the problem with that is this. When you see a patient and you examine him, 9 times out of 10, you should have the diagnosis after you finish examining the patient. And your tests, or whatever test you are, should be directly related to what you think is wrong with the patient. Now remember Dr. Roddy, the very first time he came from Northwestern, he had a PhD. And apparently he was quite a bright guy, but he saw this patient and rule out. Rule out means that's the diagnosis he thinks that the patient has. And he was ordering a number of tests based on all what he thought the patient had. And the next day I saw the patient. And when I examined him, none of those things that he had on that checklist were right. And the tests, therefore, that he had ordered were all
Coming up.
thousands of dollars, and he would never have gotten the diagnosis.
And just getting negatives.
It's just right. All he had to do was to examine the patient properly. He needed one test, which was not on that list. I mean, that person would have ended up with thousands of dollars of useless testing. See, that's the difference. Your test should be based on the diagnosis. You know. Here in the future, I was just reading an article saying in the future they have one drop of blood, and with that one drop of blood you would have 30 different tests. That's coming up in in the future. Here in England you can't do that. You have to have a blood test. You have to know exactly what's wrong with the patient. You couldn't order as here routinely when you come in the hospital you get a CBC.
Right.
CBC is complete blood count.
Right.
But that's your first that's automatic. In England they would tear you down for that. They said, "Why did you order this test? Is the patient anemic?" No. Or then they rip you to pieces. Yeah.
Wait, so the Mayo Clinic focused on diagnosis through the exam,
Right. That's what.
but most universities do not.
No. Most universities, it's all based on test. The test, the syllabus. Yeah. The better places, for instance, Harvard University, up until a few years ago, didn't have a clinical instructor.
Really?
No, they have
For medical school?
They have consultants
They would come in
who would come and teach, and then
leave.
3 months later, they're gone. And that was unsatisfactory. It's only after, I think, the students started to complain that they were not satisfied with the instruction,
Right, because
that they decided to have people whose only job is to instruct students.
on hands-on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do they have classes on bedside manner and stuff like that, or never they had that?
No. That's another thing you don't teach that. You just you observe some doctors have it and some don't, and that's not something you can teach you. It's something that comes naturally. Yeah.
So if you don't have it, then what?
And you observe people, who you would like to emulate,
Right.
But I mean, some people just don't have it. Yeah. That was telling me about Ahmed. He said, he saw Ahmed. He wasn't satisfied with, Ahmed's evaluation and diagnosis, and
Right. Who was it?
the patient.
Oh, right.
He said Ahmed came back, started to use a lot of F words on him. Yeah. He said, gee, and then when I went to see him as a friend, when Ahmed saw that I was his friend, completely changed his manner of dealing with the guy. Yeah.
Whoa.
Mm. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Interesting. How many plants you have at your house? Like 0?
I had one, but I'm never there, so I can't water it.
I mean, you're never there. You sleep there.
No, I'm usually not there. I'm usually, last year I was on the road like, I don't know, 20 weeks, maybe more.
Even though when we were missing, we In Rochester, we had
There's
some
coming.
plants, and we have
What happens when you travel? Like Uncle Howie comes here, right? To water them. And stuff
yeah,
like that?
but in Rochester we had this guy who was Minister of Health now in Bahamas. He was a resident at that time. He used to come and water when we were away. We should have 5 plants for each person.
For each person.
Yeah,
It's a lot of plants.
5 minutes. Because they give off oxygen
Right.
and take in carbon dioxide, which is exactly what you want, because you are giving off carbon dioxide,
Right.
and that's what the plants want. So it's a symbiotic
Relationship.
yes, sir.
When do you want to go?
Well, let me get something to eat. I mean, this is
This is just
this
bird
is
food.
Snack, yeah.
Bird food.